Wow, what a joy and a pleasure to have you all here today. I am Odrole Mujibola and I am your shoemaking made easy tutor. And of course, today we are going to be recycling our old jean into this beautiful piece you have right on the screen. I'm going to be showing you all the various materials you need. All I want you to do is to follow me. It's going to be a long walk, but trust me, it's going to be worth the while. Sit back and I'm going to be right back. So we are going to be using our old jean for this. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go and buy a totally new dress. Of course, you can get into the market and actually buy what do they call it? Some yards of jean material. However, if you have a jean at home, I find that this part of the jean are always let me say they tends to still be perfect when the upper parts are already off. You can see what the knee look like. So I'm going to be using just this part majorly for this particular project. So instead of trashing this, it is just like we are recycling it. And then apart from that, I'm going to be using soap. You can get an already made soap or probably one of the soaps you have at home. Maybe one of your slippers that has worn out, you can decide to actually use that. Another thing you are going to be needing is your adhesive. So you want to get adhesive for this. I'm not going to be using fabric adhesive here. I'm going to strictly be using this because I want it to really be very stable when I am through. So, and what again am I going to be needing? I'm going to be needing, my buckle accessory. Now, if you don't want to attach the strap to yours, you might not be needing the buckle accessory. But if you intend to attach it, then you will be needing the buckle, accessory. It doesn't mean that you cannot create that design without having that buckle strap on top of it. It just had a kind of glamour to the look of the jean slippers. So what again do we need? Of course, you can get your old toothbrush if you don't have this kind of brush at home. Okay, I'm also going to be using what we call EVA foam as my insole. You can see what I have here is what it's actually very foamy. I'm going to be using it as my inner sole so that it will be really foamy and then beautiful as well. So you can decide to actually use between 2mm EVA foam, I mean the thickness to about 6mm. I think those ones should be perfect, except you want it to be really very thick. If you are using 2mm, I'm going to suggest you make sure that you had an insole cardboard to it. So somebody is asking me what's an insole cardboard. So this is what an insole cardboard looks like. You are going to also cut it. It comes in sheets. Of course, this one also comes in sheets, but they also sell it in pair. You understand? A pair of these should be able to cut like 2 pairs of shoes for you. 2 pairs of slippers, if I'm not making mistake. A pair of it, because the sheet is quite wide. So because it's a pair, it doesn't mean that it's really very small. I'm talking about this particular material especially. Yes, so when they cut it, a pair of it, I think you should be able to cut like 2 pairs or more of your slippers from it. So if you are using 2mm thickness, I would suggest you also add this. If you are using 4mm and it's not a very fluffy one, some are very dense, so much so that when you press it, it doesn't go in easily. If you are working with the denser one, I believe if the thickness is as much as this, you can wrap it without adding this. Although this actually give a lot of stability to your inner sole. Your inner sole is just the part that your foot will be stepping on. So it depends on the texture you want it to have. It depends on the thickness you also want it to have. I have a video that I've actually explained how to properly cut this out and also how to wrap it. So I'm not going to be doing that in this particular video. You can let me know in the comment section, or I pray I remember I put it at the end of the screen of this video so you can easily click and watch after you have seen this particular video. So what else do we need? I think basically those are the basic things that we need. Of course, we need leather. we need a very soft leather. I'm going to be using leather. You can start to use a thick leather if you so desire, but the process I'm going to be taking this through, I might not be using a very thick leather. You can see this is quite soft, so I may not be using a thick leather. You can use a thick leather if you are not going to be following the same process I'm following. Now, it does not matter the kind of process you want to go through. What is important is you want to first of all ask yourself, how do I want my jean slippers to look like? How do I want it to look like? How do I want my fringe slippers to look like? And so that's going to be the sole determinant, because the truth is that you can stuff your fabric with the EVA foam as well. You can stuff it with the EVA foam. So let's go into this and see the techniques I am going to be using here. If you have any question, please let me know in the comment section, and I'll be glad to answer all of your questions. My name is still Odurole Mojibola, and I want you to sit back. I am gonna be right back. Recycling of the jean. As you can see, this is one part of the jean. It's actually that the leg, at least, is a trouser that I'm actually trying to recycle. So what I did was I measured like 6 centimeter width here. That will be the original width of my beautiful buckle design. We are creating a slipper, so I'm going to go ahead and apply my adhesive on the side. I'm going to be folding it in just a little, maybe about 0.2 centimeter inwards. I'm going to be folding it, so I'm going to apply my adhesive all around it and allow it to dry, then fold. So after this, then we'll move on to the fringe, because it's not the same one that you are going to be seeing outside that I'm going to be using as the fringe. So I want you to sit with me as we go on this. And also I would like to let you know that even when you want to create an Amy's design for this particular design, probably is not a straight one like this. You are intending to create an Amy's design, I'm going to also suggest you follow the same style. It will work for each and every one of them. So I need you to sit with me and watch as I do all of this. I'm going to still trim some part of this out, and please, when you're applying the gum, be careful, be careful, be careful. I will say be careful, so that you don't smear the whole place. Now for the buckle strap, like what I have here, I'm going to be cutting out like 3.5 centimeter width, and I'm going to be closing it up this way. I'm sure you can see this close up. So I'm going to apply my gum all over the 3.5 centimeter width. Now, the reason I'm using 3.5 centimeter is because of the size of my buckle. So what you do is get to know what size of strap will perfectly go in between your buckle. I find that for mine, about 1.7 centimeter will go perfectly well without struggling to flow into it. So I want you to check this inner part, this iron, and make sure you reduce it by 0.5 centimeter if possible, 0.3 centimeter reduction. Like mine, if you look at it, it's actually about 1.9 centimeter, so I reduced by about 0.2 centimeter so that I'll have 1.7 go in smoothly. I hope you understand. So whatever the width of the iron in your buckle is, just reduce by 0.2 centimeter or 0.3 centimeter. I think you should not be up to 0.5 so that it will not be too free right inside it. So that is the reason I'm using 3.5. So when you measure yours, let's say it's let's say yours is about 1.5 centimeter, you reduce it to 1.3. So if you want to cut out your strap, 1.3 plus 1.3, that is 2.6. So I'm going to suggest that you can use exactly 2.5 centimeter if locating 2.6 will be difficult, or you come to this side and use 1 inch. You start from this and then stop here. You can decide to stop on 1 inch or pick up the next line after 1 inch. Since it's 2.6, I'm not telling you that the next line is 2.6, please. I'm not saying that. I don't want to make something that it can be simple hard for us. I'm just citing an example. I hope you understand. So all I'm saying is reduce by 0.2 centimeter and then double that size. Then apply your adhesive all around, not just at the edge, all around. Then you can fold it in this way. If you choose, you can actually line this with a very soft lining if you want to. If you don't want to, you can use it like this. But if you intend to leave the edge, now let's assume that I am going to be leaving this edge, out, and then one will be able to see it. Let me show you what I mean. Like, I'm going to be leaving the edge out, just like the design you have on the screen is having something like this, and its edge is flying. Now I would suggest you line it. I would suggest you do that. But if you're going to be going through all, because my own design is going to be all along this way, this is the way I'm going to be using my own design. So I'm not going to bother about lining it. I'll just place it right there and I'll be good to go. But if you want to use exactly like you want it to have the buckle will be suspended this way on top of the whole design, you understand, the buckle will be here, then another strap will be coming in, and then it will be staying on top of it. If that's what you are doing, please ensure that the strap coming this way, you line it after doing it, folding it along this way. You can actually leave this way. You can leave this one like this, since it's going to be double and it's going to be staying right here and hidden right here. So the buckle will be suspended like this on it. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. If you don't get it, please let me know in the comment section. I will explain more, but I hope and I believe you should be able to get that. So while I look through that, let me quickly cut this extreme part off. I would not be needing it. Please, if you have not liked this video, ensure you like it. Ensure you like it. Ensure you like it. Talk to somebody about Jibbyfemforte today. Ensure you do that for us. Ensure you do that for us. So I'm going to cut. So I'm going to trim this off as well before I go ahead and begin to fold. So let's go ahead and fold the edges. Please fold just a little. So now this will stand as the main leather that you are going to be seeing. Now let's go to the fringe. How do I go about the fringe? Now I want you to know that one way or the other, because we are recycling and hodging, and then the length would not be going this way. If the length is going this way, then you'll be able to have your fringe in blue color. But I find out that this particular jean material, this side like this, is actually blue, while this side is actually white. So what does that mean? It's going to actually be reflecting when we are cutting out this. I'm going to be using the second one for this. Let me see this. So we're going to be using this part. So what does that mean? Open it right in here, then place it. I hope you understand. Place it this way. You can even use the right side, because I'm going to be, opening from the right side. You can use the right side. You can use the wrong side. It depends on which you are okay with. So what this means is that I'm going to place this here. If you want to still use this part, you can use it. Since this part will be going on that's why I did not mind using it, because I would love to still use this jean for some other beautiful design. So I want you to watch out for the amazing things I am going to be doing with this. I want you to know that this is also applicable to whatever kind of fabric you want to use, whether it's satin, whether it's an African fabric, you can also use that for this. Yes. So just permit me to use this. You can actually use seam ripper to do this as well. So this is what I'm going to be having. I'm still going to trim this part off entirely. So all I need here, I'm not sure I've opened enough. I'm just trying to show us how to go about the fringe. So if you are actually working with like an Hermes design or whatever kind of design you are working with, probably is a Birkenstock design too, this is also very much applicable. So I'm going to place this here. Don't mind this, it's going down, so don't mind it. So let's say now it depends on how wide you want the fringe to be, like how long. So that will be the sole determinant of what will be happening here. So I'm going to be placing it this way. I just want it to have about like half an inch or 1.5 centimeter, you know, extra all around. So I think with what I have here, I have 1.5. So I'm going to be placing it correctly. So on this side, I'm going to draw this. Then also measure my 1.5 all around it. So that is going to serve as a guide when I begin to fray my jean, you know, my old jean. We are creating a fringe design of a jean slipper. So I'm going to call this out. That's what I have. All right, so I'm just going to work on it this way. Now I was explaining to us initially, you can make sure you're high on this. I was explaining to us initially that we should ensure it's like this is not quite straight. When it's straight, it's easier to work with. It doesn't really matter, it's still going to work perfectly well on top of it. So these two, I'm going to make it straight. I need them straight. I don't need them when they are not straight. So I just need it to follow me. So now as you can see this, we are going to begin to fray. Now I was telling us initially, if I start removing this, is the blue part that will start coming out, because I'm using the kind of material that I'm using, and then the green, the part that I'm actually, you understand, cutting from. If I had cut this way, if I cut it this way, like the way it is here, if it was long enough this way, if it was long, this side was long enough, I will have cut it this way. So by the time I begin to remove, you understand, I will not be having white. You understand, you'll find out that when I'm pulling out from this side, I will definitely be pulling out the white, and I'll be having blue right here. But because I cut this way, that's the reason I'm having white at the edge. So when you're buying, after purchase, try to check to know what side actually is the blue part, in case, you know, some part of the jean material you bought probably is blue and white that was mixed together. You understand what I'm trying to say? So I'm just going to go in bits. You start removing them one after the other. That is the process. So you can also use your scissors just to pull out. And sometimes you might have to pull some part of the side out so that you'll be able to see exactly the ones here. So with this, I can easily, you see, pull, and one after the other I begin to pull out, and that is what I'm going to do till I literally finish the whole edge. So catch your fun. If you have children around you, show them how to do it, and they will be glad to, in short, help you to destroy and through their destruction, fringe will be created. So when you finish this part, you go to the other side as well. If it's not going again, it means you have actually picked one before the other. So as long as one that is on top, you have missed it, it will not go again. Can you see? Can you see? So can you see that? You can also start from this side, like take away some of the white. Can take away some of the white there. You understand? So it will help you to be able to see this part. You understand? So you can remove from that part, and before you know it, you have your fringe all around it. So that's just the simple process for the fringe. So I'm going to come back after pulling out all of this, and then I'm going to be showing us the same thing on this side. Can you see? Can you see this? Can you see that? So I'm going to come back and show us how do I now place it, what happens next after. All of the edges, I try to apply my contact cement adhesive on it so that I can use it to hold this down on top, you know, perfectly well. That is the essence of putting it. So I'm going to arrange it on top of it this way. So with this, it will lay perfectly well without it moving unnecessarily. So can you see what I have? So now the next thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to use my lining. You can use a soft leather, you can use a thick leather, it depends on you, but for me, I think I would prefer it soft. So I'm going to be using this. So I'm going to be placing this right here. So I'm just going to try to like reduce this. Don't forget, I don't really need much. I don't really need much. So I'm going to connect this and this together. So I'm just going to apply my adhesive. Please don't make mistake of applying adhesive on the right side. So we are going to apply it on this part. Please take it calmly, slightly. So I'm going to apply it here. Before I go ahead and stitch. Then our fringe design is ready. Don't forget, I said if it was a Birkenstock design, first of all, create your Birkenstock, the size you want, fold all of the edges, then place it on a totally new, on a totally new jean material. Don't forget, we are trying to recycle our old jean and create a beautiful buckle slide from it. So you want to ensure that after you have, folded like I did to this, just do the same thing on whatever design you want to create, and then you will find out that it will come out beautifully well. By the time you create, you see the way I extended all around the strap, you are also going to extend that way. Then try to lose, all of this, and then you are good to go. So I'm going to place this and we are going to go ahead and stitch. Please be careful. I'm going to advise us, be careful. Be careful so that you won't be applying your adhesive on top of your fringe. I'm still going to trim the fringe, so there's nothing to worry about. So let's go ahead, stitch, and you will see what we have right after. Let's go ahead and fix our grommets. So I just want to pick, I think I'm going to put like 3 on it at an interval of about 1.5 centimeter. I think I'm just going to use 3. So I'm just going to duplicate that same process on the others, and that's all. So